Yeah, Scary Alvarez with another professional DJ fade. That's what we do here. Well, this is the one y'all have been waiting for because we have a very special guest today. A couple of Wisconsin volleyballers. I know a lot of you have been waiting for this for a long time, and I include myself in that. But welcome to the Scary Alvarez podcast. I'm Scary Alvarez, Wine Island enjoyer, Sherry Wine destroyer, Jake's grandpa, and Cindy's plus one when she'll have me. And as I alluded to moments ago, we are here with Wisconsin volleyballers, CC Crawford and Devyn Robinson. Welcome to the show, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah,
This is awesome. This is your last chance to get off right now. This is this is it. This is the moment. All right. Well, this is I have to, in interest of full disclosure, I had alluded to this is the first volleyballers that I've had on the Scary Alvarez podcast, but I did have Dana Retke, someone that I know you both are familiar with a couple of years ago. I'm not sure if you caught that one, and millions of people end up listening to it, but that was a lot of fun. She I think thought she was getting like an ESPN kind of interview, and then she realized pretty quickly it was a Scary Alvarez interview and was able to, as she often did on the court, adjust accordingly, and we had a lot of fun. So I'll send you all that link after. Anyway, we'll get right started with this, and we'll get into your backgrounds a little bit. But I guess I'm going to kind of ask you collectively, and then there'll be a couple questions that are specifically for one of you, like either CC or Devyn. I'll ask you those questions. But tell my listeners. TC, you can start this. What positions you play and what that entails. Because I'm trying to get them in a greater. They love volleyball, but kind of a greater understanding of what it is you guys do.
Yeah. So I play middle blocker. So I'm usually the person that's in the middle of the net at the front of the court. I play 3 rotations in the front row, and then I serve. I'm the serving middle, so I serve and I play basically it's like half a rotation. But yeah, blocks, attack, pretty much it.
So you're one of the people who jumps up there when the opposing player is hitting at 95 miles per hour right your nose, and you just kind of don't care. I mean, it's
Yeah.
amazing to me, like, because that's really they fire those things and it's coming. I know you all kind of get up to the net and block a bit, but that's pretty wild. Devyn, what's your primary position?
this year I am a right side, so I'm on the right side of the net next to CC, and I mainly just attack, and my main goal is like blocking their outside. So yeah, I do like half of what CC does. I'm in for 3 rotations, but I don't serve because we run a 6-2, so I sub in with our setter.
Okay, you said a lot of things there, and I'm a very intelligent person. I have the 296 IQ and all that. We've already been over that, but the my DJ friends in Ibiza appreciate that. But you said so with these rotations. Just one of you, whoever wants to take this, explain for my listeners what a rotation. Because I know that there are substitutions, but it's very different than football and basketball.
Yeah, so you can run there's technically 2 main offenses or 2 main rotations you can run. It's a 5-1 or a 6-2. So the first number indicates how many attackers you have, and the second is how many setters. So if you run like a 5-1, you have 5 attackers. So you would have 3 in the front row at one time and 2 in the front row at one time with 1 setter. But we run a 6-2, so we have 6 attackers. So we have 3 in one rotation, 3 in the other, and we run with 2 setters.
Okay, I think I'm following this. So I'm going to go back to each of you on your individual positions. If you could make an analogy to a football player, what football position would you play, CC? Like, what's the closest? Is there anything that even fits? I asked Dana Retke that too, and I think she said offensive line, but maybe I can't remember.
Yeah, I would say maybe the line. Like when I'm thinking of positions, like the quarterback's the setter. I don't know, Dev. What do you think?
I feel like we're the O-line. That's the people that protect the quarterback, right? I mean, because we're the first line of defense against attack.
Yeah,
I love it. So you guys are O-line. Do you maybe have any extra time to help out the football team this year? Would that be something that does your coach allow that? I don't know. We can talk about that off screen. I just want to throw that out there. But they got some guys coming back, so it'll be all right. And by the way, one of the other questions I want to ask relating to other teams is, I know y'all are very busy with your volleyball most of the season, or most of the year, most of the calendar year. But what other UW sports do y'all like to go out and see? Like when you get just as a fan?
I love the basketball games. I've always loved college basketball. My dad's a basketball coach, so I love college basketball more than the NBA, actually.
I do too. Yeah. Cece?
Yeah, I would say I like watching football. I've been to a hockey game, my first ever hockey game last year. That was really fun. I really enjoyed that. I've been to a couple women's soccer games. Those were fun. So yeah, and then basketball as well.
Gotcha. A lot of great sports. I'm kind of exploring those in this podcast. But in Wisconsin, this is a big secret. So I want to make sure so you guys you can be the first ones to know. There's a really good women's hockey team at the University of Wisconsin, and apparently they're going to sneak up on people this year and win some games. So yeah, that's incredible stuff. Mark Johnson and his women are doing there, and you're probably familiar. There's a new men's coach, Mike Hastings, and that team just had the sweep in their first season. So it's good when all cylinders are firing. I mean, there have been some seasons when there's been ups and downs for some of those winter teams, and I know you all support each other, so it's got to be fun.
Yeah.
This is and whoever wants to jump in can take this one. This is a tough one. I ask these probing questions that sometimes make it fun. Who is your favorite college volleyball coach and why?
You gonna go first or you want me to go first?
You got it, Cease.
Favorite college volleyball coach? Well, that's easy.
Yeah.
It's Kelly Sheffield. I've never ever had a coach like him before. He is very intelligent and he says things that like I never would have thought of when it comes to technique, fundamentals, as well as like life skills. So yeah.
I'm gonna have to agree with that. And I don't know if you've ever had the chance to talk to him, but he's like always on. Like it feels like you're, I don't know, like watching like a newscast. He's like, yeah, so what about this, this, and this? I'm like, oh, I didn't even know you knew any of that or whatever. But like he's always on.
Well, besides when I hired him a number of years ago in a wonderful decision as I do, it would be really fun to talk to Kelly, and of course, you two will be my primary emissaries for that going forward, depending on how this goes. But yeah, being in a room with someone else who is always on. Oh, okay. There we go. I have a compact Rosario from 1994. That's my wife Cindy got me that computer recently at a garage sale. So mine sometimes shows things on the screen that other people's don't. So I'll see the little wheel spinning. It's fine. Don't worry, we're good. Well, high drama in this here, yeah. But yeah, Sheffield is and I think that's a great answer. By the way, I think that would have been. And Dana Recchi also, not shockingly, said Kelly Sheffield. I didn't. So we're kicking someone on eventually who says someone else, but Kelly's great, and we're so impressed with the work he does. And seems like a fun guy, jumping in lakes and seems like a real player coach.
Yeah, he is.
Good stuff. So part of this show is learning more about both of you and your what you bring to the court, and but some of it is also trying to have my listeners and viewers understand the game better. I mentioned that early on. How would you, Devyn? You can start with this one. How would you explain college volleyball to someone? I mean, obviously they can watch it, but explain it to someone who is new to and says, "Hey, should I check a Badger women's game out?" How would you explain the game of college volleyball to them?
I would say it's very fast paced. Like there's always happening, and there's a point like every play. Both teams are very energetic, and it's cool to see women do powerful stuff. So I would tell them to check it out.
That's great. Cece, would you add anything to that?
I would say it's the ultimate team sport. I mean, we can't attack the ball without a good set. We can't set the ball without a good pass. Like, it's the ultimate team sport.
Yeah, and obviously, my background in football, which is another, very, very team-oriented sport for obvious reasons. But I do know there are football players and non-athletes alike who watch your games and literally, without a hint of irony or anything, say, how the hell do they do that? I myself have said that. I mean, I got a 38-inch vertical. We've already been over this, but not with you, but with Brady Collins. But it's not just like having the courage to get in front of 90-mile-per-hour fastballs going at your nose. We've all seen Brady Bunch with Jan or Marsha, the nose break. I mean, it's scary stuff, but it's how a ball's coming 90 miles per hour and the person digs it out, just miraculously gets in that exact space where that ball happens to be through training or whatever. And then you all know someone bumps it and sets it, and then the third person, not the person you think is going to do it, spikes it down. And it's just, I know a lot of it is obviously practice and coaching, and you all have plays and stuff. That's the generic answer. But in that moment, to be able one thing that comes to mind, and Devyn, you remember this one, I'm sure, was the championship point versus Nebraska for the national title in 2021. That was the epitome of volleyball. And that's the thing I would show to anyone who's like, do you want to watch college volleyball? Watch this play. How do you do it? I mean, it's such a maybe it's a weird question, but I'm just hopefully you understand where I'm coming from on this, because it's to a layperson, it's so hard to understand how you make those plays.
I mean, it's part like how you said, like we just work really hard, like we train every day at this because we love it so much. It's like you can watch other sports too, and if you don't know much about them, you watch like, how are they doing that? Like I can't even like shoot a basketball like that. It's like they put work in, so you know.
Yeah, this isn't, and to be clear here, this isn't to denigrate basketball or football or any of the sport, because I'm huge fans of those, and those are very difficult. But there's something unique about volleyball. Maybe it's the question of not being as familiar with it as other things, where I just watch in awe, and I don't know how you do it. I mean, football, snap, handoff, snap, pass, catch, run. I know it's complex, they're plays, but volleyball just seems more complicated to me. I don't know. Maybe it's just that it's not being. Maybe you're so close to it. CCS, some insight on that?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, other than like the training aspect, I think big thing is mentality. I mean, all of us have the same mentality, and coach likes to say like hunting. We're always hunting for the next play. We're always reading the game really well. We're seeing the game really well. There's a lot of IQ that goes into it, so it's not just technique and like talent and athleticism is a huge part of it. But on top of that, just being able to read the game is a big party.
I feel like I get that. And I think also confidence and the confidence in your teammates has to be a big part of it. The Florida match is one that comes to mind recently, where I believe there was down a set, or there was one set where they had a big lead, and no one on your team looked nervous. You guys are kind of like, I mean, not smiling like in a ha-ha way, but like it was almost like you knew, even down 6 or 7 or down a set or two, that y'all could still win that match, and that's got to be cool.
I mean, that's like the cool thing about volleyball. It doesn't matter how far down you are, like you have a chance of coming back. And it's like, as long as you believe and as long as you're confident in your team and yourself, your mind too. Oh,
you're good. You're back.
Oh.
This could be the hotel Wi-Fi I'm on. I'm at one of my I'm at one of my Caribbean wine islands right now, and I did the Cricket wireless package for the Wi-Fi for the island. That was not a mistake. I should have gone with Verizon. I'm not here to promote Verizon, but you learn these things. It's not like I don't have the money. I mean, I could I bought the island, but yeah, that's good stuff. So this is a question for both of you. Who is your biggest rival in volleyball? I know you have many teams, but this isn't raw meat. I'm just wondering, if you had one match to play with one team, and everything's on the line, who would it be?
Nebraska. Straight up.
Yeah, I would probably have to say it's Nebraska.
Okay, I love that. I know I was pretty sure that was the answer. I know they're number 2 in the volleyball polls, and this isn't. I'm not trying to create bulletin board material. Maybe I am. I don't know, but I'm not trying to. I know your coach would be mad at me, but I got a sense from Dana Reicke talking about, I think it might have been the Longhorns a couple of years ago, that she was saying all the right things to me, but there wasn't love between her and that particular team. Do you guys, if you happen to be at a restaurant or something, and it was the Nebraska Cornhuskers volleyball team strode in, walking all like they do. I remember watching that 21 game, and there was kind of cockiness there. I'm not sure what that was, but would y'all like break bread together, or would it just be a polite hello? Or give me a sense for how those rivalries go. I know in football there can be some real tense stuff. What's it like in volleyball?
I mean, for me personally, I have a lot of friends on the Nebraska volleyball team. So, I mean, on the court, it's all business, but like off the court, like I'm still like good friends with them.
Yeah, I'd have to say the same thing. I'm friends with a couple of girls on the team, so it would probably be the same thing.
Okay, so it's not like the fights in Anchorman where, Brick and Ron go to I'm not sure if I'm too old. That's too old a movie, but it was a wonderful comedy, very nuanced comedy with Will Ferrell and some of his friends. But they have these newscaster fights where they meet in the park, and they have it's funny stuff. But it's not like that. So it's pretty friendly.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I think that's the sportsmanship way. So the biggest rival is Nebraska. Devyn, I presume that's yours as well.
Yes.
Okay, they'll be glad to hear that. That's good. That could be another, and the realistic thing is it's entirely possible that could be the national title game again. I mean, it's just that's how good they are.
Yeah.
Okay, I asked this question of Dana Recchi as well, and she tried to answer it, but I'm going to ask. So someone wears a different color shirt. Is that the libero on your team? And was that just like someone accidentally forgot their jersey one day, and they wore a different one? They just it went really well, and then you just all just went with it, or how does that? It just seems to the outsider, it seems so strange. Like having a football player with a different jersey would be so odd.
They wear a different jersey because like they're able to sub in for two different people. Like they're able to sub in for both the middles. Like they don't have to waste a sub; they can just run in for them.
Okay, and I realize they tend to be a little on the shorter side than other people on the team. Is there like an advantage in that? How does that work?
Yeah. So what I will elaborate on, so they do sub for two middles. So like Carter and I don't play the back row. So the libero plays both of our back rows. So they play the 6 rotations. They play my 3 back row positions, and they play Carter's 3 back row positions. If that makes sense.
Okay. And I pronounced it libero. I was at a party with a couple ex-presidents, and I pronounced it libero, and they said, "Oh no, Mr. Alvarez, that's libero." Is there a debate there? Is that tomato? What's going on with that?
I feel like it's.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dev.
I mean, it is what like if you want to say it that way, say it. But like it, I don't know. It's more of just like just to be like, oh, but you're saying it wrong. It's like, okay, who cares? Like we're talking about the same thing.
Okay, so the dorks say libero. Is that what you're saying, or is that because you guys libero? Yeah, so just say it. It's fine. They know. They already know. Totally cool. Well, my next dinner party with CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, I will correct them and tell them it's libero. So I see that y'all are number one. Obviously, we mentioned in the polls. Should it just stop at 1 at this point? I mean, they do go ahead and add the other 24. And I'm not sure what that seems like a strange exercise.
Yeah.
Coach is in your ear right now. You can hear Coach. You can hear Coach Sheffield in your ear saying, "Don't fall for this." No, I'm kidding, of course. But I will say this. I'll back up and answer my own question. It has and sort of suggest the answer. It has to be fun every week, because you guys are playing. And I know my guess is, and you can tell me if this is true. You don't get up when the new poll comes out and go, "Oh, we number one." You just play your matches and let it take care of itself. Is that a fair assessment of how y'all do it?
Yeah, I would say I did like a radio interview after the last match, and I had no idea what our record was. And they were like, "Oh, this is your record." I guarantee you, ask anyone on our team, they don't know our record or anything. Because like, not that stuff doesn't matter, but like the goal at the end of the day is just to get better every single day and every single game. And so like that's our mindset and focus. It's not on polls, rankings, record. Like it has nothing to do with that.
Like the rankings don't matter till the end of the season. Who's the one with the trophy? That's the only thing that matters.
Okay. I think that's a good perspective, and it seems like your fans have a similar kind of mindset, in great contrast to football and basketball, where the fans are obsessed with Wisconsin only got 4 votes this week, or Wisconsin's 1 game back in the Big Ten West. It just seems like a very different mindset, and maybe that's part of your secret of success is kind of focusing a little more on the day-to-day work and not having that burden of always having that spotlight on exactly how many points you have in the poll every single week. Maybe it's a longer season, more matches. Maybe that's a part of the function that's a little different from football, but it just seems like there's a little bit less of an emphasis on that in volleyball. And I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Devyn, how do you stay motivated after winning a national title?
I mean, it was probably the best feeling I've ever experienced in my life, and getting to share that experience with my best friends. It's like, why wouldn't I want to feel that again, And like for the girls who haven't felt that, like I want them to be able to experience that feeling.
Yeah, that's cool. And Cece, if my researcher, I have a grandson named Joe Ferguson who's my researcher, and he told me you transferred from a Big 12 school as a Kansas. I think I had that correct. Yeah. And I presume you didn't win a title at Kansas. So what has been the transition? Kind of similar to what I asked Devyn. I mean, what is the transition for the Kansas? And not to bad about the Kansas program. I'm sure it's a good program, but just the difference between the two programs and what the mindset has been like.
Yeah. So I from Kansas, so I grew up a Kansas fan. Both my parents went to school there. But But I would say the biggest difference in the programs is the mindset and mentality. I feel like here everyone's bought in, everyone has the same goal and mindset, and we're striving for that every single day. We're striving to be the best we can be, and I'm being challenged every single day, which is awesome. So yeah.
Well, that's good, and that's obviously a reflection of how Kelly runs his program.
Yep.
Yeah. So this is we get a little bit personal. That's because it's fun. People want to get to know you guys and more than just what they see on the court. One of you or both of you, give us a funny. It doesn't have to be like laugh out loud on the ground, but it can be a funny story with the 23 Badgers that kind of gives a little bit of insight into the way this team functions. And then I have a follow-up question on this about who the funniest player on the team is.
Oh goodness.
Funny something.
Funny moments.
There's got to be some of those. I mean, with your
There's
coach, it
so
just seems like
many.
you got some personality. It doesn't, and Dana actually her trouble with answering this question was there are too many, and I can't narrow down which one's the funniest. But just something that gives a little insight into how y'all do it.
Well, I guess it wasn't funny at the time, but it's funny now. Like it was during our practices before we went to Europe for our foreign tour. We weren't having the best practice, and we spent maybe an hour in defensive holds and planks.
Oh, I forgot
like,
about that.
in a circle, and he'd be like, there was one part where he had us do like sit-ups. Like this was, where's my hand? This is position 1, position 2, position 2. He would say a number, and we had to sit up and hold it there. So like our group chat name is defensive holds 1, 2, 3.
That's hilarious. Does Coach Sheffield know that? Because I'm sure he's going to be watching this many times. I know he's a big fan of the show, so it's good. CC, do you have something to add to that?
What?
Do you have another story or something to add to that?
I don't know. There's just so many. I mean, it's hard to pick out one because everyone's so funny in their unique way. Like just how someone might walk into the locker room could be funny just because of like everyone's personality. So it's really hard just to pinpoint one exact moment. So.
Okay, so it sounds to me like y'all have an atmosphere where y'all like each other. There's a lot of funny people. But you have your funny moments. Devyn, what you just told me about Coach and that thing he made you do made me think back to. I'm not sure if you've seen the movie Miracle, but Kurt Russell plays Herb Brooks, and it's about the 1980 Olympic hockey team. And the precipitating incident was they're playing in Norway. And they're kind of playing the game. They're looking at the crowd, at the women, and waving and stuff. And they end up tying an inferior team. And Herb Brooks makes them, even after the lights are on the stadium, do these sprints again. Does that? I mean, I'm not suggesting Kelly that Sheffield is Herb Brooks, rest in peace. But was it kind of a team bonding moment in a sense? I mean, that's what I'm getting. I mean, you can look back and laugh at it now, but at that moment, it did something, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just going through hard stuff together that brings us closer, Like, it's not going to be, like, all fun and, like, games the whole time. Like, it's going to be hard, but going through that with, like, your best friends is, like, a place where we can all grow together.
Gotcha. How does the 23 squad differ from the 22 squad? I mean, things go a little differently last year. You could have had another national title. So, I mean, I know the talent level is very similar, but what if anything is different this year?
I feel like maybe it's just personnel. Like the standard is still the same. Like all the confidence, all the power. Like we all have the same goal in mind. Like nothing like really changes so much. Just we lost a few people, and that was pretty much it. Like the goal is still the same, and our work ethic is just as hard. So.
CC, this is your second year in the program, right?
Yeah, I would also say that like I feel like the group that we played with last year is very similar to this year, and we've kind of established an even better trust connection on the court, and I think that's helped a lot throughout this year as well.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. It seems like there's a lot of team cohesion, and not just, and that goes beyond just the knowing where to be on the court stuff. That is obvious to anyone watching it. That how much work goes into that. Devyn, I'm going to bump back to you. And this is a little sort of similar. Is bump a volleyball term? Did I just do that kind of?
All right, I'm going to say it. So, like, as people that play volleyball, we like to say, like, okay, how would you word it, Dev?
It's not like it's a pass. Like
it's a pass. It's not a bump.
It's not a bump.
It's like a pass set, and
it's not spike.
It's not spike.
You hit
what is
ball.
Pass that hit.
Okay, hit's a little less meaty than Spike, but I'm going to tell you, as a football, I wasn't too big a fan of the pass, but as a football guy, I like it calling it a pass. I think that makes more sense because that's really what you're doing. I mean, it's obviously bump is describing the physical process that leads to that pass in many cases, but it isn't always a bump, right? I mean, I don't know. I think I'm getting it, and I agree with how y'all do it. That seems like it makes more sense. Um, Devyn, I'm going back to you real quick about because you were here a couple years ago. Um, what is it? And you said it was a great experience, but I want to dive a little deeper into this. And I'm unable to ask this question of any Wisconsin men's team players. What it feels like to win a national title, and I don't mean just in the moment, but after. How you're regarded on campus, how you do with your family and friends. I presume your phone was blowing up. I mean, what's that? What's that feel like?
It's you feel like the man, honestly. Like you feel like coming back to campus, and I wore that hat until like I couldn't anymore, because I don't know, just it's nice to know that you had so many people like supporting you. Like I'd walk around campus and be like, "Congrats, you played so good," or like we came home to our apartment building and people had put like stickers on our door like, "Congrats, volleyball, we're so proud of you." It's like all that hard work like paid off, you know, all the blood, sweat, and tears, and all that stuff. It was worth it.
Yeah, so I mean, and CC, this would apply to you too. I mean, it's kind of an offshoot. And I'm sure that was super fun. I mean, I know I felt that way after the Rose Bowl. I mean, everyone knew who I was anyway, but it's fine. It got even cooler. I know Jake Ferguson is my grandson. You might not know he's my grandson, but he told me that sometimes when they have a big win, they beat Michigan in 2019, they get a few more fist bumps on campus. But this must have been pretty remarkable. But CC, do you feel like when you're walking through campus, like people are like, "Hey, that's CC." Like, do you feel like a celebrity? I mean, I asked this. I know some football and basketball, a Sejan's going to be like, "Yeah, they know who I am," but like, what's that feel like? I know that's not why you got into the game, but is that a fun thing? Is it a burden? I mean, is it both?
I would say I do not feel like I'm the man walking around campus. Not that I don't think that people don't know who I am, but I just like I don't like to wear like Wisconsin gear around campus. Like I try to look like a normal human. I mean, I'm wearing the backpack that has, like, my number and says who I am, but I try to just be a normal student. So yeah.
So if you happen to be, at the library studying on a Saturday night or something at 10 o'clock, and some rando comes and talks to you, like not in a creepy way, but goes, "Hey, love you, it's awesome." Is that still kind of fun though, where someone's like recognizes you and says, "Good luck this season"? I mean, 'cause that's got to happen. And Devyn, I'm sure that happens to you too. I mean, and that again, when you were being recruited, I'm sure that wasn't necessarily in your mind, but volleyball has become a phenomenon at Wisconsin beyond what even 4 or 5 years ago with those great teams, what anyone would have thought. And I just try to get a sense for the feeling of celebrity that might go along with that.
I mean, for sure, it's exciting. It's cool to be appreciated for all the hard work that you put in. But yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, only like right after winning the national championship, but I like, yeah, like know me, but like sometimes I want to like not like have like people come up to me, like how CC says I'll like wear like non-Wisconsin stuff, but like the red backpack kind of gives it away. But yeah, it's nice when people come up and like recognize like, "Hey, like I'm coming to your game, like I'm so excited to watch. It's gonna be my first game." I'm like, "Oh, your first game," and I get to be the one to show you like college volleyball, you know?
Yeah, that's got to be fun. Now, you'll have a little bit less of a burden than I do. You don't have a statue of yourself on campus, at least not yet. And again about Dana may one day have a statue on campus, and the only stipulation is hers is shorter than mine. Some people say I'm 5'10", and I think I'm kind of a robust, maybe 6'2" or 6'3", but it's fine. But Dana's obviously taller than that, but we'll deal with that at the time. Okay, we're gonna wrap up pretty soon here. Just a few more. You'll have. I'm trying to remember where you're from. CC, you're from Kansas, and Devyn,
Yeah.
where are you from?
I'm kind of from all over.
Okay.
I went to high school in Iowa, but I was born in Little Rock, Arkansas. Then I moved to Bloomington, Illinois. Then I moved back to Arkansas. Then I moved to Ames, Iowa. Then I moved to Houston, Texas. Then I moved to Chicago, Illinois. Then I moved to Ankeny, Iowa, where I went to high school. And now my family's in Cleveland.
Okay. Cleveland. Wow. Okay. Sorry, or go, that's great. I don't know. Cleveland, it's Cleveland. They're not Ohio State. They're not Ohio State fans, though. Certainly.
No, my dad's a basketball coach at Cleveland State.
Oh, yes. Oh, now Cleveland State, and I'm trying to remember there's some Cleveland State thing, and I'm trying to remember what the relevance is. And someone transferred from there or something. I don't know. We'll get back to it off stage, but that's good. Cleveland State. Okay, so how does he like Cleveland?
Oh, he loves it. Yeah, it was his first year as a head coach last year. He did pretty good. He set a school record for most wins as a first-time head coach. So hopefully we can keep trending upwards.
Okay. Well, best of luck to him unless Wisconsin plays him, which is possible. So in that case, I'm sorry, I have to defer to Coach Guard. Yeah, absolutely. Well, he's not as obviously neither of you are from Madison. Kind of give me your impressions of Madison. Because a lot of people get there and they're like, wow, I didn't know this was going to be this cool. And then they end up staying and living their entire life there, like me and Cindy.
Yeah.
What's that been like?
Yeah, so when I transferred, I had not even visited the campus. I had no idea what the university looked like. All I knew was I knew Devyn, like Reed, MJ, and a few others, and that was it. But yeah, it's really cool. I think the lakes are awesome. It's awesome in the wintertime when they're frozen. It's fun to walk on, and it's awesome in the summertime to hang out around there. State Street, it's a really cool area how it like connects from like the capital to campus, and like that's just like the heart of campus, which is really fun to be around. And the last school I transferred from was half the enrollment here. So the school is massive compared to where I transferred from, which is really fun too.
It's big. And Devyn, what's been your experience?
I love it here. I mean, I knew I wanted to come here as soon as I stepped on campus. I was like, this is the best place ever. Like the atmosphere, the people, like even the coaching staff. Like I was just like, this is where I want to be.
Yeah, it kind of sneaks up on you a little bit. I mean, it's obviously beautiful when you're flying in, you see the isthmus and the lakes, but it's a special place. The cold, I grew up in Western Pennsylvania, played in Nebraska, coached at Iowa, Notre Dame. I know cold's fine, but the cold is still a thing. And as in my advanced years, it's getting worse and worse to deal with that. But y'all, I don't know, you manage, right? You figure it out.
Yeah. It's
Do either one of you or both of you have a Kelly Sheffield imitation that you'd be willing to do? Lest he make you do those positional things again.
He likes to say great morning or great afternoon.
Yeah. He'll come in to film and be like, how we doing? And we'll all say great. And he's like, great morning. All right. And stand at the board and start telling us what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll workshop this a little bit more before we go on the stand-up circuit with this one, but it's something to think about. We do a word association game usually before the end of the podcast. I say a word or a name, and then each of you gives me the first thing that pops into your mind. No pressure, but it's often funny if it's awkward. Okay. We're gonna get right back to it. Kelly Sheffield.
Volleyball.
You know what'd be really funny is if someone came up with a picture of Kelly in high school or college and he had just this big curly head of hair or something that was just bananas. I'm not sure how old he is. He could be anywhere from like 35 to 60, but I can't put a pin on it. But he, someone's got to get a hold of the Sheffield High School yearbook. Can I trust one of y'all to do that for me? Or I can get Joe Ferguson on it if we need to, but that would be wild. Luke Fickle.
Mean mug.
What was that?
Mean mug. Like he's always like.
Oh, mean mug. Okay.
I don't know. Nice. I don't know. We always see him walking by the weight room. He always says hi. He's nice, I guess.
Okay. Oh, that was perfect. I love you gave basically the opposite answers. That's good stuff. Jake Ferguson.
Does he play for the Cowboys? Or like Dallas? So
yeah. That's Cece. I know you're new here. Jake is my grandson. I know a lot of people don't know that, and not much was ever made of that. He's Scary Alvarez's grandson. He now plays for the Dallas Cowboys. He was the four-time most amazing Wisconsin Badger grandson football player for 4 years.
Okay, yeah, I'm thinking. Yeah, I thought he played for the Cowboys. That's what popped into my head.
Okay, wow. And Devyn, I'm sorry. What did you say? Hall of Famer. Football. Okay, fair enough. And I'm trying to think of the last one. The 2021 National Volleyball Champions.
Confetti Dreams.
I don't know. watching it on TV. So
Did you in that moment? I don't know how your transfer situation evolved, but did you say to yourself, maybe in your heart of hearts, hey, that'd be a pretty cool team to play for?
yeah, I thought so.
Fair enough. And then that next fall, there you were.
Yeah.
Is there any room for? I know other teams have this, and we're getting some Big 12 or Pac-12 teams in. Is there room at Wisconsin for men's volleyball or beach volleyball? Do you see volleyball, as popular as it is, growing to a point where there's other volleyball entities on campus?
Yeah, definitely. I hope we develop a men's team in the coming years because men's volleyball is pretty fun to watch too.
Yeah.
And beach volleyball also it appears to be a really different game though. As far as like I've played both sports, of course I'm awesome at both, but I feel like in beach volleyball when I would go up for my spikes, it's really hard to kind of levitate when there's sand there, and that's a really tricky thing. I don't know if y'all are fans of the game, but it just seems like there's so many fewer players. It seems like a different game, but there are Pac-12 programs where that has happened. Is it a rivalry where like non-beach and other beach go, hey, we're the real volleyball, and they're like, no, we're the real volleyball? Is that a thing, or is that just something I'm trying to concoct right now?
No, I don't really think it's a thing. I feel like they're just two separate sports, to be honest. And I feel like it would be hard to have a beach program here because of the winter. It's such like an outdoor thing. You'd have to have like an indoor facility or something.
Yeah.
But what an incredible home beach advantage that would be for the players who are ready to play in that situation. That's good stuff. Well, final question, and this is I know the answer to this. I know I'm very certain of what your answer is going to be. But if y'all played the Wisconsin men's basketball team in volleyball, would that be 25-0, 25-0, 25-0?
Probably.
Okay, they're not going to get a point on you, are they?
No.
Who do you think the best volleyball player on the men's basketball team would be?
Probably.
I don't know.
I feel like I don't know, either Nolan or Connor, because they would actually try. I feel like some of them may be like, "Oh, I'm not gonna play,"
Yeah.
They don't want to get into it. Like, so those are like the more fun-loving kids. There was a story I actually, when I talked to Nolan on an earlier podcast, was not aware of this. Connor Sejan, his freshman year, was on that TV show where the Badger team was traveling to France for a preseason tournament. And Sejan literally said, I will jump into this river off this boat if someone gives me $50. And that right there, when I saw that, I'm like, I got to eventually get that kid on my podcast because that seems like a fun kid. I know he's an Indiana kid, not a big city guy, but he just seems like he brings the fun. But anyway, we'll presume that they'll try the hardest. But yes, I tend to agree that would be a straight sweep, 25-25. And if the reverse happened in a home and home, and you all played them in basketball, you would score points. So I feel confident that the overall champion of the volleyball basketball challenge would be the Wisconsin women's volleyball team. So there we have it. Awesome. Well, thank you both for jumping on today. I know it's been an honor of a lifetime for both of you, and certainly it was fun for me too. Any parting things you want to say to your fans out there? There's going to be probably 6-7 million people watching this, so I'll give you the final stage, both of you.
I would just say thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, this is fun. And for everyone watching, go to volleyball games if you haven't been to one. They're so fun.
Yeah.
I can vouch for that. And we'll get multiple statues eventually. We'll get a Devyn Robinson statue, a CC statue. And by the way, CC, I presume, is just because your first name and last name start with C, right? It's not like a CC DeVille thing or like a.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny when people say CC Crawford because then that means Caroline Crawford. But like the two C's are just like my first and last name.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Well, and the whole thing, they call me Scary Alvarez now. It's evolved in its own way, but that's fine. Well, thank you so much for jumping on, and we will see you in future games, and good luck for another national title this year, hopefully.
Thank you.
Thank you.